Oh, look, it looks like it's doing horizontal here and vertical there. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Tuesday Talks with the Conways.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Chris. Nice to have you here. Ooh.
Instagram is. We are on a different platform today, and it's trying to see my Instagram people consumer.
They can't. Sorry, we're trying a new streaming service.
I
And
can just be like this all night.
it seems like Instagram is streaming in portrait mode, whereas everywhere else seems to be vertical. So that is going to be interesting. So we'll want to keep an eye on that. So I apologize, Instagram, if you can't see all of our faces.
Yeah, we'll try to remember tonight when we're talking to just kind of move in a little bit.
Yeah, I got to be a little close. I don't think they'll mind not seeing me, but she's the prettier face. So, well, let me switch over to chat, and hopefully, yes. Um, can everyone hear us too? I do see Lydia on face commented on Facebook, so thank you for joining us. But hopefully, everyone can hear
is
us.
it mirrored? It's mirrored. We switched sides.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, well, technically, we're still sitting on the same side as everyone, but as we normally do. But I guess it's mirroring things. But yes, thank you for Lydia for confirming that you can hear us. And good evening, Regina. I'm glad to see you all here. Hopefully, we can get this new platform situation figured out. In a lot of ways, I like it a lot better than the Restream, but then it does have some quirks.
But it's our first time using it, so we might be able to
Yes.
figure that out.
Yes, absolutely. so, you, so it's going to be fun. But we are going to make sure that it looks great. Perfect. Cindy confirmed. Also, thank you for joining us, Vadina and Cindy and Lydia. So glad to have you all here. So we have some really good stuff to talk about.
Yes.
And we will, I guess, get right to it since we're a little bit on the later side. So, Courtney, if you would like to introduce our amazing topic.
Yes. Tonight we're talking about breaking the self-sabotage cycle. So self-sabotage and how to stop. This is something all of us have done, whether it's been, like whether you're currently doing it or did in the past. Like it's probably something that everyone has dealt with. I've dealt with it, and I still sometimes see myself dealing with it here and there. So it's definitely something that would be nice for everybody to be reminded of.
Absolutely, and it can kind of creep up on YouTube. But basically, self-sabotage is basically just doing the opposite of what you know you need to do. So, have you ever wanted to feel healthier and more confident and more consistent, and then found yourself doing the very opposite things, the things that make it harder? Definitely something that we've all run into. So, for example, if you want you've been meaning to work out and do some exercise, but you put that off. If you're you're trying to stick to a planned meal that you done, we talk about meal prepping and meal planning, and then you just go completely off course.
Yeah, and with that, like, or one off track meal just ruins your whole day, which then ruins your whole week, which then ruins your whole month. And then next thing you know, you've had 3 months off track because of one meal.
Mm-hmm. And then the whole waiting for a perfect time to begin. We've had a whole topic on this. That you don't have to wait till next week. You don't have to wait till next month. You can start your next meal, start back and get back on track. So those are some things that you can do. Also, just self-sabotage on that line. We talked about keeping healthier items more accessible. and not healthy things accessible. I think that's somewhere that I've kind of been self-sabotaging. Oh,
sorry. I was looking at the healthy, and we are vertical on Instagram, so
it's just,
I don't know what this is.
So it's just our preview. It looks like okay.
So all that silliness was for nothing.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
No one commented on Instagram to say that it looked good on there.
Thanks,
so
guys.
Good to know. But yes. But one thing that I've kind of been struggling with lately is keeping those unhealthy things accessible. Like I had a bag of chips, not chips, the little pretzel bites, the sourdough pretzel bites right by my bed. And so I just, without thinking, I'm not hungry because the semaglutide, the GLP-1 is working. So I'm not hungry, but it's right there within hand's reach. I would classify that kind of as self-sabotage because one of the things to do while you're trying to be healthy is to not have those things quite as accessible.
Yes.
And so that caused me to be off plan on Sunday and maybe Saturday a little bit.
Cost his wife as well because I was over there reaching in the bag too when he was eating them.
Yes.
Granted, I can stop myself. And there was a point where I was like, Chris, are you going to eat all of that? Like I did try to keep him accountable, but
yes. So those types of things, I knew that I needed to not have those things accessible, but I didn't. So that's just kind of part of self-sabotage. And self-sabotage is not laziness, and it's not a character flaw. It's also often just kind of a habit or a learned, protective response, so to speak.
And because of that, because it's learned, because it's a habit, sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it. When we went through our 2-3 year plateau, it was because of self-sabotage. But the thing is, we didn't realize we were doing it. We were like, we're on track, we're on plan, we're doing it. And we were not. So sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it because it's so much of a habit for yourself.
Exactly. And what we want to do is look at behaviors, look at the root cause. So what you want to do is just kind of dig into it. And this is where Courtney's journaling idea comes in is keep a journal of your thoughts, your moods, situations that arise, stressful situations. Because once you have a record of that, you can use that to, I self-sabotaged on Sunday because of X or Y. So keeping track of those and finding the root cause can kind of help you course correct or also just minimize the self-sabotage of your healthy plan.
Yes, because sometimes we do have to dig deep when it comes to anything, but especially like our health, to see why we're doing certain things. Because like I said, sometimes we're aware, but sometimes we're not. And if we're not aware, that is when you really got to dig deep and be like, why? What am I doing? Like, why am I not seeing progress? It's self-sabotage. Why am I doing that?
And so what kind of self-sabotage situations, how does it look for you in your life? Some examples are, procrastinating, putting off your meal planning, putting off your exercise, putting off tracking, because tracking, talk about as a really good tool and important to do that, to keep tracking.
Yes, or even just putting off just starting. Like we mentioned, waiting for the perfect moment. I'm waiting for Monday. No, I'm waiting for the 1st. No, I'm waiting for January 1st. Like just putting off the perfect start time.
Absolutely. And also some of the self-sabotage that we've seen is the all or nothing mentality. You go off track for a meal. Oh, I'll just start over tomorrow kind of thing. That is in itself a huge self-sabotage situation. I'm quitting after one setback. We've gone through and we've had some struggles, and we just wanted to give up, and that is not a good behavior or attitude to have. And then also, overcommitting and then burning out. That's something that's really, really, really real. Like when you try to force yourself to be on track so much that you end up burning out. Like this is where we talked about having things that you want with things that you need, so that you don't lead to binging moments. Because if we withhold those things from us, that's when we're more likely to binge.
Yes, but also when it comes to overcommitting, it can be that way with working out too. Like Chris has mentioned before, that he has gone hard. Like he has done like 2 weeks in a row, and then he just doesn't want to go anymore because he's just done too much. He's burnt out. So you got to make sure to give yourself a rest with anything. That comes with balance, and that is why balance is so important, because it gives yourself rest.
And the negative self-talk, and this is something that I struggle with all the time too. Courtney was looking at me the other day and she said, "Man, you look skinny." I said, "Well, I feel fat." And that kind of negative thinking can
He does look skinny, y'all. He really does.
I appreciate it. and I do feel skinny sometimes, but there are just those moments that I feel like I've come a long way, but I still have a long way to go, and it's just taking forever. And those you can spiral and getting in those moments where you feel like you're not succeeding, and that can really kind of get you stuck in a rut, and that can be that can self-sabotage your healthy journey.
Yes. And also just avoiding support or accountability. Like, I can do this all on my own. I don't need anybody's help. Or like, when I told him, are you going to eat all those chips? He could have been annoyed or mad at me and been like, girl, leave me alone. He wasn't. He was just like, no, I'm almost done. But just avoiding that kind of accountability or support can also sabotage you as well. And thank you, Lydia.
Yes, it is very important to have that person, whether it's your spouse, it could be your child. Kathleen sometimes reminds us, is this healthy? And that just kind of gets us, on the train of thought. You can have a friend, Joy, which I don't know if she's here with us tonight or not. I haven't seen a comment from her. She's the really good accountability person. We love just sharing with her our activity, the food we've had. She shares with us the food that she's having, and that right there is a huge accountability, and that will help make sure that you succeed too. So want to make sure that you don't avoid support or accountability, and make sure you have those partners.
Yep.
And Lydia mentions tracking as a must. Those bites, they do really add up so fast, and that's why Courtney says track every bite, lick, or taste, because it definitely adds up.
Bite, lick, and taste.
For us, with us still being a little higher on the weight side, we have a little more bites to play with. But if you're closer to your goal, you might not have as many bites to play with, and they go way too fast.
Yes, Stacy, it is so hard sometimes to see it on ourselves. I've lost 110 pounds, and I still sometimes look in the mirror, and I'm like, I don't see it.
She'll get ready to prep her Transformation Tuesday post, and she'll still come to me, and she'll go, Chris, is there any difference in this? And I just want to take the phone and slap her on the head with it, because yes, it's really obvious. And Stacey, that's a really good point.
That's all part of body dysmorphia, sadly.
It is.
And a lot of us, especially those of us that have lost weight, deal with it a lot.
Absolutely. And that's common. But get yourself those friends in the support groups. And we've mentioned, go visit that friend you haven't seen in like 5 or 6 months, because you're like, dang, Stacey, you look great, because they haven't seen you on a regular basis, and they haven't seen you in a while. So if you make an excuse to go visit a friend or family member that you haven't seen in a while, and just watch those, make it a good one too, not just any old friend or family member. But you'll definitely have those comments. Man, Stacey, you look really good. So do that. So make that as an excuse to go visit someone that you haven't seen in a while.
And the behavior, it may look different, but the pattern is often the same. Discomfort shows up, and then it causes us to move away from the goal.
Absolutely. So if you can drop in the comments, some of the things that causes you to get off track. So what?
Stress, boredom,
exactly.
Fear, time,
exactly, or just anything else. There's a lot that can pop up. Unplanned things pop up in our life. When we were in a season when your dad and my mom were in and out of the hospital for a while, those unplanned events threw everything off track, and it was so hard.
We were just trying to survive.
Yes, we literally were just trying to make it from hour to hour, to day, especially when both of them were in the hospital at the same time. We were up there so often. It was hard to meal prep. It was hard to cook at home. Those types of things can also kind of throw you under the bus, so to speak. So keep an eye on that. So there are some moments like that you really can't avoid. So the only thing you can do is do your best until you get outside of that season.
We all have seasons of our life like that, and seasons of our life where it's difficult to even try. And it's okay to have those moments where you're just like, I need to take a break. Like, I'm just trying to make it right now, and I can't focus on anything else right now. And that is absolutely okay.
Absolutely. And instead of asking, why can't I just get my stuff together? Ask, what's causing this? What in my life can I change or alter a little bit that will help make this easier on myself? If you're afraid of failure, that can cause you to kind of get off track. Everyone's afraid of failure. I always wonder, what if I just gain it all back? But I'm not going to let myself gain it all back.
Very true.
Lydia mentioned she lost her mojo on activity, but it's slowly coming back. That's absolutely right. And that's really key, Lydia, is slowly coming back. You can't stop your activity for a while and then just jump right back in exactly where you left
Yeah.
off. You know, we've gone through a period where we did a lot of strength training, and then we kind of shifted away from that and going to cardio. And a big mistake would be to going back to the same weights and the same reps you
I
did
tried.
beforehand.
That was dumb.
And it's not very smart. So definitely, if you do take a break from the exercise and you're trying to get back into it, kind of slowly ease your way back into it to get your body acclimated to it.
Yes, and Vicky mentioned that sometimes she's just so tired of thinking about food, planning, tracking. I feel like everything is food. I get that. We've had times where we've just had to say, okay, we're taking a break from tracking. We're going to be mindful, but we're not tracking. And sometimes we just give ourselves a break for just one day, and it helps. So even if you just need to give yourself a break for a day or two, it's okay. After a certain amount of time, you know what's okay and what's not, as far as like what's healthy to put in your body, how many, about how many bites or calories something is. So if you need to take a break, it is okay, because sometimes we need those breaks to kind of come back and get back to those goals and to those things that we want to do.
If you want to stop thinking about things for a while, you can have some pre-planned meals and snacks, things that you know that are within your budget, and then just put those in, a bucket or a list or a reminders app or whatever, and then pick from those, and don't track, but pick from things you know fit within your diet, and that will kind of help get your mind off of things for a little bit. But don't stay in that mindset a little bit too long, because that can be when things tend to slip. We've been doing this for so long. I know what can fit in my day. But if I go for any length of time, if I go more than a week, I think, without tracking, I have a tendency to kind of just increase, and then I'm way over my calories and my bites, and I'm not in that deficit, and then that can get dangerous. But you do sometimes need a break, because it is a lot. Having to think about everything you're putting into your body, tracking every single thing, it can get to be too much sometimes, but in the long run, it's definitely worth it, and I'm glad that we're making that effort. But like, make sure you take.
I get it though, because sometimes it is so tiring to it's like you're constantly thinking about food, and then you want to not think about food, because then if you think about food, you're going to want to eat, and I totally get it.
Stress and emotions definitely cause a lot of things. We've talked about previously in our podcast that your mental health is probably as important, if not more important, than your physical health, because if you can't keep that in track, you're not going to have the willpower, the desire, the stamina to be able to focus on your physical health. So it's really kind of dual purpose. Make sure that you keep an eye on your mental health, so that you have a well-rounded balance of health. So you want to be good up here, but good everywhere else too.
Yes, and then sometimes it's just the things that we tell ourselves. I'm not disciplined. I always quit. I'm a quitter. Healthy people are just different from me. I'm not a healthy person. Sometimes it's those things that we tell ourselves that keep us, that are self-sabotaging us and keeping us from even trying, because we feel like we just can't do it. And that sometimes also goes back to what he was saying earlier about the fear of failure. You feel like you can't do it. You feel like you're not disciplined, like you're just going to quit, so you don't even try, so you don't fail.
Absolutely. But if there's anything worth in life doing, it is getting healthy, and we all have our whys. Some of my reasons why I'm doing this is to be healthy for her, to be healthy for my daughter, so we can have another child. It's worth doing, even if there are struggles and there's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to be easy all the time.
Yes, and anything worth having in life, it's going to be hard. So just try to remind yourself of that. It's not going to be easy, but it's so worth it.
Absolutely. So recognize your triggers. So if you've had one of your triggers can be an exhausting day at work. Joy works with kids. Courtney works with kids. We all sometimes can have some really stressful jobs. At the end of the day, if that's one of your triggers, and you're like, I just need to have what I want just to recover from my day, recognize that, and then look for ways you can modify it. Yes, you've had a bad day. You might be able to give yourself a little bit of a treat, but don't go completely off board either.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also with that, you're exhausted. I deserve a break, so I'll start again tomorrow. That's all well and good, But if that happens on regularly, or happens to where you're basically off track for the entire week, entire month, that's really it gives you temporary relief, but then you get hit by that guilt and the frustration that you set yourself back.
Which is sometimes worse in the long run. But then also sometimes you need to ask yourself, what's happening before I self-sabotage? What's causing this? What thoughts am I telling myself that I'm believing that are not true? What need am I trying to meet? Like sometimes it's just we want to feel something, and sometimes, especially with binge eaters or people who have an addiction to food like myself, sometimes we just want to feel something. And we can control the food, but we can't control outside sources sometimes. So we're going to have this food that we can control. You need to ask yourself these questions sometimes so you can figure out a solution.
Absolutely. And sometimes if you get depressed, I deal with depression sometimes too. Food and memories of food bring me to kind of a happy place. My grandmother, she was always in the kitchen. She was baking and making all kinds of sweet treats. So I can't have a chocolate chip cookie, especially homemade, without thinking of her too. So sometimes food can bring you comfort and joy through memories. And that is in itself is not a bad thing, but if you allow it to get you off track, it can definitely become a problem. We definitely do enjoy our stuff, and those comfort foods are good, but in moderation.
Yes, and then along with all of this, like we've mentioned, a journal. Sometimes you need to just track or journal your patterns for a week, and I'm not talking your calories, your weight, none of that, but just the moments when you feel like you're being pulled off course to see what is triggering the self-sabotage. Like what caused me to feel this way, to want to eat this way.
Absolutely. And then there are 3 ways that you can respond differently. One, just make a smaller step. I need to get back on track with one manageable action. So for Lydia, needing to get back on track with her exercise, just start with something small. Start with getting up. If I don't know if you do a lot of sitting, but just start getting up every few minutes or every few hours, doing a little bit more walking. Courtney paces while she's cooking and waiting for things.
Yes, or like if I'm watching actual TV and not like a streaming service without commercials, if it has commercials, I will get up during the commercials sometimes and just walk around. And like during an hour show, that's like 15 to 20 minutes of just walking.
Absolutely. Add water or protein to your next meal. So if you're struggling to kind of get back on track, just add small things. Remove some of the sugary drinks. Add a little bit more protein. Add more water. Try to get an extra 15, 30 minutes of sleep at night to help you kind of recover for the next day. Those small things. You don't have to go drastic. Like we mentioned, if you've not been exercising, don't run a marathon the next day.
Yeah.
That's not something that your body is going to be able to do. You have to work your way into it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to do number 2.
That's what I was going to do. And then also challenge the all or nothing. Like you do not need to have the all or nothing mentality. You don't have to have the thoughts of, well, I've already messed up, so I'm just going to forget it. Or I'll just start Monday. Or if I can't do it perfectly, why bother? Those are definitely huge triggers to self-sabotage.
Absolutely. And just think one choice is one choice. My next choice still matters. So we talked about in the past getting back on track. Don't wait till the next day. Your next meal, your next snack, you can be back on track and minimize the impact of you falling off the wagon, so to speak.
Yes, consistency is returning. It's not never slipping. Like we all slip up. We slip up all the time. He just mentioned he had the slip up with the little pretzel thingies. We do it all the time. I even now like still sometimes find myself. I usually have a nightly like little Reese's egg every night. Sometimes I find myself in there having 4 or 5 without even realizing it. And I've been on this thing for 6 years and it still happens sometimes. So consistency is not never slipping up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Consistency is returning. And that is, that has been our key word for this year. And that has helped helped us see some tremendous advances in our health journey. We have messed up this year, but we have been most consistent this year than we ever have because we've always returned back to getting back on track.
And then also plan for difficult moments. Create an if-then plan. Like if I want to quit after a hard day, then I'm going to take 5 minutes before deciding to just throw the day away. Or if I miss a workout, I'll schedule the next one instead of calling the whole week a loss. I'm going to schedule one for tomorrow if I can't do it today.
Absolutely. Speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you care about. So if you're being really hard on yourself, just think what someone who would what would for me, what would Courtney say to me to help encourage me? I can use those kind of thoughts to make sure that I'm being kind to myself and giving myself grace as well.
Yes. One thing my coach has told me before is to sit down, especially on the hard days, and write myself a positive note for 5 minutes. I'm not allowed to say one negative thing about myself, not a single thing. All positive things. And sometimes you have to dig deep to find those positive things because you don't want to. But if you're really struggling, write yourself a note for 5 minutes and make every single thing positive, and it really does change that mindset.
And Lydia mentions having weeklies and activity bites help a lot too.
Yes, so we used to be like anti, like we ain't gonna use those. We are pro weekly and activity bites. They're there for a reason.
Absolutely.
Use them.
Absolutely. All right, so I think we've gone through most of our stuff. I don't want to cut it off too soon, so I would like to go ahead and go on to our recipe. So let me.
So last week I mentioned I'm trying to find or come up with like easy, like, because back to school's coming up for some people. I start back to work next week, and our daughter goes back next week, which is crazy because we used to not go back until like almost September, so it's crazy. But this is a salsa chicken casserole. 3 ingredients. You can add, seasonings and stuff to your liking, but without the seasonings, 3 ingredients. Throw it together. It's super simple. So you're going to need a jar of thick and chunky salsa, whatever kind of salsa you like. You can even use queso if you prefer, but it would increase the bites probably drastically. 2 cups of reduced fat Colby Jack shredded cheese. We use the Aldi stuff. Aldi reduced fat shredded cheese it's elite. If you have not had it, it's so good, especially for a reduced fat cheese. And then a pound of chicken breast. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Dice the chicken and season it to your likings. That's why I mentioned the seasonings. Place the diced chicken in a 9x13 greased baking dish. Spread the salsa all over the chicken and then sprinkle the cheese on top. You can use less cheese to lower the bites and calories, but we love cheese, so we use a lot. Bake for 30 minutes at 375 or until the internal temperature of the chicken reaches 165. That's important. Make sure your chicken's cooked. All ovens are different. But this has a whopping, what does that say? 49.2 grams of protein per serving.
And it's 7 to 10 bites, depending on which plan you're on.
Because you can also like have this over like rice or something and make the servings smaller, like make this 6 or 8 servings if you wanted to. But like we made this as like a meal. So like we had a pretty hearty portion. But it's 8.5 net carbs.
397 calories.
397 calories.
And overall, this also we've made something similar to this in the crock pot too. So that's definitely
so you could throw it in
option.
the crock pot. Next week, I'm hoping to have a crock pot meal for you guys. It's something I'd hate that doesn't switch back automatically. Anyways, we're still learning this new platform, but we made something the other night that was delicious, and I'm hoping to perfect it to have it for you guys next week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining us this week on Tuesday Talks with the Conways, and also thanks for being with us with trying out this new.
We will get it as perfect can be soon.
Absolutely. But thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.